Welcome to Staying Sober with Papa Joey. I'm Papa Joey, and this channel is all about your sobriety and mine. Let's get to it. Well, today we're going to discuss words that begin with the letter B. Okay? So it's interesting. As I'm putting this ABCs of sobriety together, and I'm looking up words, of course. Man, as I get down into the alphabet, it's getting a little tough to find 2 or 3 words that relate to sobriety. But it's been fun. And this one, the letter B, there's 3 right off the bat that I didn't even have to think about, what words I wanted to use. So let's get right to it. We're going to discuss believe, boundaries, and balance. So I think we'll start with believe or belief in yourself, okay? You have to believe that you staying sober, getting sober is a good thing, right? And you have to believe in yourself. Now, I hear a lot of people early on in sobriety tell people, well, don't trust yourself. You can't believe that you know what you're doing. And I think that's unnecessary. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that you're going to move forward without putting alcohol or drugs in you. And you believe that you understand that you also need help doing it. And you can handle it. You have to believe that you can do this because you can. It just takes a little time. It just takes, it does take, I don't want to use the term work, but it does take an understanding that moving forward without, your best friend at times, drugs or alcohol, is going to be challenging. But you have to believe that no matter what situation you're faced with, you understand enough and you believe in yourself enough that these words will come to mind. Don't drink or use no matter what, and no matter what means no matter what. You have to believe in those words, okay? The work, because it's true. Don't drink or use no matter what, and no matter what means no matter what. You're not going to get drunk, and you're not going to get high. And then you'll be able to go through this situation. Sometimes it might be an easy situation, maybe an uncomfortable situation, maybe a medical situation that it's going to be tough, but you got to believe that you can get through it. And as you start getting those little, as you start walking through challenges in your life, it gets easier and easier to realize that you're doing it without falling back in your old ways, meaning with a drug or alcohol. So believing in yourself, to me, is really important because, man, if I didn't believe that I could stay sober, why would I even try doing it? Why would I go through all that bullshit that I went through early on if I didn't think I was going to be able to stay sober and maintain my sobriety for the years ahead? Because it got to the point in my life, once I realized my sobriety was a choice, then I believed that I can make that right choice when it came to my sobriety. Now, there's been many times I made the wrong choices in other areas in my life, but when it came to my sobriety, my number one choice was I'm going to remain sober. And the reason is because I believed enough in myself and knowing that I don't want to repeat what I did before. It's kind of like, if you play baseball, if you ever played baseball, softball, any sport, but I'm just going to use baseball. If you walked up to the batter's box and you kept on telling yourself, I'm not going to be able to hit this ball. I don't believe I can hit this guy. I can't do this. I can't do this. Chances are you're going to strike out every time, right? You've got to go up to that plate believing in yourself. At least believing, hey, man, that's a great pitcher, but I'm going to hang in there and I'm going to give it my best shot, to hit one. You can't walk with an attitude of defeat. Now, you got to believe in yourself. And it works. I mean, I can even tell you, I shared another podcast. I got into playing pickleball, and I enjoy playing. Just started a couple years ago. Try to play 3 to 4 times a week, and sometimes I get to play with people who have been playing for a longer period of time and are really good. So early on, when somebody say, "Hey, you want to join us?" and after I watch them, I'm like, "Crap, man, these people are going to kick the shit out of me, man. I don't even know if I want to play against them, because I don't want to embarrass myself, blah, blah, blah." Then I finally realized that, I'm not that bad. I'm pretty good, actually. And I'll go up against anybody because I believe I can hold my own. Even if they beat me, they're not going to beat me hard. I don't care how good they are. I can hold my own and give them some type of a, game. And I'm okay with it. But I got enough belief in myself and some of the skills that I have that I can do it. Now, I'm certainly not going to have that attitude if, somebody says, why don't you come and play basketball with us? Everybody's 6'3", I'm 5'6". I don't believe that I could handle, myself in a game like that. But going back to belief in yourself, you need that. You can do this. You got to keep telling yourself you can do this and believe in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, well, then nobody's going to believe in you. And there's going to come time, especially early on in your sobriety, where people probably won't believe that you're sober, that you're no longer drinking or using. So what? Let them think what they want to think. Just keep, not putting a drug or alcohol in you, and just move forward. Sooner or later, they'll realize that, hey, the guy or the woman, they're doing well. But believe in yourself and believe that you're doing the right thing for yourself by not putting a drug or alcohol in you. Now let's go to boundaries. Well, there comes time, especially early on in sobrieties, we have to set boundaries for ourselves, right? And they're different for everybody. But I think one of the boundaries that everybody does at first is you stay away from situations where there's going to be booze or drugs, right? You can't set yourself up for failure right away, especially if people are around you and they're, drinking or drugging. You don't need to be in that position, even though, you believe you're going to be strong enough. Trust me with this, stay away for a little time. I'm not saying, you're going to always be fearful of situations like that, but you do need to set up some boundaries. If there's certain people in your life, now I know it's tough. Maybe you and your spouse aren't getting along. I know it was tough for me early on. I was going through a divorce. It was very difficult. Some of the boundaries I had to set up for myself were maybe, even though we were still living together before she moved out, that not to get into arguments. If we started to, I would walk out. Something I just had to, stay out of that situation. Because, it was early on in sobriety. I think I was in AA for 3 or 4 days when I got served divorce papers. So, it hit me really quick. And all of a sudden, I'm getting sober, and now I got to deal with the fact that I'm going to be going through a divorce, and my wife's leaving to go back to New York. We're in Florida. She's going to take my kids. So it was a lot on my plate at the time. But I wanted to stay sober, and I had to do what was right. And so sometimes I just shut my mouth, which was tough. and I walked out, went to an AA meeting or just drove around in my car. And, I had to set my boundaries. And then in life, as you get more time being sober, we'll say, you can extend those boundaries. Like for me, I can go any place that serves alcohol or whatever. It doesn't bother me. I worked in bars. It doesn't bother me. But I knew enough about myself and my sobriety where I trusted myself, because I really don't want to drink no matter what. And no matter what means no matter what. So I'm comfortable in any situation that has alcohol. Some people aren't, and I understand that, so don't go if it bothers you. There's nothing wrong with it. What I don't think is a good idea, though, is using boundaries as an excuse into moving forward. Now, I noticed that there were a lot of people early on in sobriety that, in these meetings, they would talk about, I hear them talk about family members, which I always hated that. Why bring up family members, what they do, and, what they didn't do, or other people, to try to lift yourself up at, like, well, look at me, look how special I am, I don't drink anymore. It's crazy to me. But anyways, and then I would hear them say they were supposed to go to a party and they don't feel like they should go with this person because there's going to be alcohol there. So I got to set my boundaries. Well, and I also know that person, went out the week before, which is fine, and went dancing with a group of people from AA, and there happened to be alcohol involved. So, or at the location, I should say. So don't do that to yourself. If you're going to make boundaries, use them so you can keep moving forward and with your sobriety until you get to that point where nothing's going to bother you. Now, I know people who won't go on a cruise because they serve alcohol. Well, stay away from the bar then, I guess. And nobody's going to be coming running after you with alcohol and drugs and go, come on. You got to think about that. Don't make it hard on yourself. But early on, you need some boundaries, and don't let anybody get to you. If they do, instead of confronting them, just walk away. It's hard. It's difficult to do sometimes, trust me. There were many times where I just wanted to shoot my mouth off. And early on, because people said things about, me getting sober and everything, but I didn't. But then again, there were times where I did, but I didn't pick up. That's what I'm getting at. But like right now, my boundaries are different. I don't want people around me that I don't like or I don't want to be with. I'm 63 years old. Why? Why do I have to be around anybody that I don't want to be around? And I just make it easy for me. So boundaries, again, important. And the last one is balance. We all got to have some balance in our life. Because if you're the type of person who say is an overachiever, always going at it, and you're early on in your sobriety, that could create a lot of stress for you. And that stress may trigger you to make the choice, I always use the word choice because there's no excuse, to pick up a drink or a drug. So what I would suggest is, if you're an overachiever at work, maybe find something else that you used to like to do and you don't do now, maybe sports activity, or if you like going to movies, or if you like to write, or something that you enjoy outside of work, and start doing that so it brings you a little bit more balance in your life. And of course, if you have a family, spend more time with your family. So you're kind of like balancing everything in your life, and you're not overloading yourself with one or the other. Because I know for a fact, and I've heard many people talk about this, that they're when they're not in balance, when too much is going on in one area of their life, and then they feel like they're neglecting this other area, and then all the stress starts to come, into their life again. Unfortunately, some make that choice to pick up again, and it never really works out. I can honestly say I've known some people who picked up and are still drinking after having some time sober. Their life isn't better. It's gotten worse, but they've accepted the fact that they're okay with it. And who am I to judge them? I just know I don't want to live like that anymore. Life is getting too short, and at 63 years old, you realize you've got limited time ahead of you. So I know for myself, as much as I enjoy life and my grandkids, my daughter, my family, time's coming to an end. I don't want to screw it up by putting a drink in me and then ruining whatever time I have in front, ahead of me. That's stupid. So for me right now, my balance is at work, I play pickleball. I got some great friends that I play pickleball with. Now this channel is something that I'll be balancing myself, my time with. And there's a couple other things I enjoy. I still play drums every night, at least an hour playing drums. I've been playing drums since I was 6. I enjoy doing that. I go out, listen to live music all the time. I enjoy that. So I try to keep somewhat of a healthy balance, and I work out daily. So see, I don't even think about that. I don't drink, and I work out daily. It's just never a thought. It's just something that I do. So keep in mind these 3 again. Believe in yourself, because ultimately you're going to be making decisions, and there's going to come a time when a decision needs to be made and there's nobody around to help you, and you got to believe in yourself enough when it comes to sobriety that you're going to make the right choice. And the right choice for people who abuse alcohol or drugs is no, I'm not going to put the drug or drink in me, because you're a person who no longer drinks or uses alcohol, period. That's it. And of course, boundaries, early on, set them up. You don't want to go to this place, don't go. Your friends drink, don't hang out with them for a little while. You'll find some new friends, which is fine. Go to the support group, like I said, AA, go to your church, go someplace, meet some friends that don't drink. I'm not saying neglect your friends or your family if they do drink. You just got to get yourself in a comfortable situation for the time where you can still get out and do things and not stress over it because somebody's drinking around you. And if somebody's drugging around you, just get the hell out. I have a real disdain for people that abuse drugs, and if you do, I feel, and I'm sorry to say that, I don't know why. Again, somebody close to me, it died of a drug overdose, and it's painful. I've seen people, abuse alcohol too, but that's a different. I'm sorry if I offended anybody who's a drug abuser. I don't mean it that way. I just feel that's a tough way. That's a tough thing. It's tough. Just get whatever help you need to get to stop it. And of course, balance, what we just talked about. Just try to get, if you got to work, you got family to take care of, just find yourself some time for you where you can, enjoy whatever the hell it is you like to do besides, stuff that's going to hurt you. So that's it for this episode of the ABCs of Sobriety. Again, the 3 words are believe, boundaries, and balance. Take some time after the podcast and think about how they pertain to you and your sobriety. And hopefully, it's a good thing for you. And if there's some area of any of the topics that we've discussed, figure out how you got to how you can work them out. You're always welcome to drop me an email and tell me what's going on, and I'd be more than happy to give you my thought or a suggestion. Put them in the comments if you like. But see, I understand that a lot of times, especially on topics like this, I know I wouldn't want to drop anything in a comment, because nowadays people use shit against you online, and unfortunately that's the world we live in, right? So when it comes to like my sobriety and stuff, I rarely put anything on any post like about my old drinking days. I will tell people, I've been sober for a while, and it's a choice that I make, but I don't put some, personal stuff in any comments. So you're welcome to just email me if you want. And if you want to be on the ABCs of Sobriety, talk about how you deal with certain parts of your sobriety, drop me an email. We'll discuss it, and then possibly get you on the channel. So listen, have a good day. Remember, this is Staying Sober with Papa Joey, and this channel is all about your sobriety and mine. Talk to you soon.